Yo, 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 we coming to you live on location, virtually. Me and the blackest one are here staying our asses at home in Orlando. Y'all should please do the same. And we got legendary Hall of Fame status, one of the best PGs to ever play. We got CP3 in the building with us, y'all. Tune in.
Stay your ass at home.
Where y'all at? Where y'all at, Q? Where y'all at?
Orlando.
Brought to you by AT&T 5G.
First question we ask everybody on the show is, when you first got to the league, who's the first person to bust your ass?
First one, probably Chuck. I think it was AI. We was playing in Philly, and AI shot 24 times in the first half. How you do that, man? In the first half. Y'all remember, like, in the first half, and he just, it was Chuck. It was Chuck, for sure.
Other than pressure.
Yeah, just all the time.
What was that like though for you? I know growing up, that's somebody that was your idol and somebody you looked up to, and then now this show you here now. Now I'm about to lace them up, and I'm going to, like, what's that like going into the game, and then when you get to the gym, you putting your jersey on, and you about to play against Bubba Chuck?
Q, it was crazy. It was crazy because I mean, I know y'all know Chuck. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really played against him. When I played against him, you know what I'm saying? I wore number 3. I remember I had high school, I had braids when I was in high school.
CP you know with braids?
Yeah, well, Pops wasn't with it, though. Just know that Pops wasn't with it. But it just, I mean, everything, you know, like I wanted tattoo, I wanted everything. You know, Chuck used to be out there with his jersey untucked and all that. But you know me, too, like when we get to it, let's get to it. And I never forget, after the game, and I always talk about this, he asked me one of those games for my shoes. Right? He asked me, could I sign my shoes for him because his son wanted them. And I was confused as hell. I'm like, you Allen Iverson, what your kid care about me for? And as soon as I had kids, it all started to make sense.
Yeah. Straight up.
Because little Chris could give a damn about me. He give a damn about me.
I need all that.
Right. He want anything from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? What Russ got, what Dame got, you know, he want all that.
Yeah. They got all your stuff all the time, every day. That's nothing. Right. That's automatic.
Right.
Hey, Louisville, North Carolina. Where the fuck is Louisville, North Carolina?
Around for you try me like that.
Look.
You try me like that. That is in North Carolina, so it's right outside of Winston-Salem.
Okay.
Right? You've been to Winston before, huh?
Yeah, I've been to Winston.
Yeah.
What, an AAU tournament or something?
No, I had my mom's best friend had family down there, so I went down there one summer.
Okay. So yeah, it's literally right outside Winston. So that's where my high school was and everything. That's where I grew up. That's home. That's where my parents still live and everything.
Oh, straight up. How was it like growing up in Louisville? I know it's a small town, and you know, North Carolina big to make your noise, and Jordan came from North Carolina, so you really got to make some noise.
He was down there by the beach, but you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up. I mean, a lot of people say that's the country. You know what I mean? All that different type stuff.
Kakalaki.
Yeah. Eat a little bit of everything. It's the Bible Belt. I was at church 4 or 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? My pops was a deacon. My mom a deaconess. All that, you know. It's a show that I've been watching with my kids. It's called Family Reunion. It's on Netflix if y'all ain't seen it. But it talk about, like, Vacation Bible School, all that. Like, I grew up all that. And my granddad had a service station. And me and my brother used to work at my granddad's service station. Every summer, rotating tires, changing oil and all that. And just, I don't know, I got to grow up around my friends. There wasn't a lot of moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my kids, and I don't know about for y'all, like my kids, the reason why they didn't go to OKC with me this year, because they've been in a different school the past 4 years. I got to grow up around my same homies all the time.
Right, yeah.
All the time. And I think that's what I miss the most for my kids.
You brought up your grandfather. I can remember, like, because I'm a person that, you know, me and D, we both super hoop fans for real. So, you know, every year we watch McDonald's and all that. And I remember them saying that in your story about, you know, when they had you at the McDonald's game, about how you scored 61 points in the situation with your grandfather. Talk about that and what he meant to you in your life, the impact he had.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I had homies and all that, like best friends. I lost my grandmother when I was 8, and so my granddad became like my best friend, right? So my folks would get mad at me, and I mean, I grew up on straight ass, right? Like for real,
Right.
like
Yeah.
moms and pops, you know, get at you. So my granddad was the one I would call, like, Papa, man, like they tripping, right? And so from church, I would always be with my granddad. If I wanted some J's or something like that, my granddad would make me come work at the service station. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, here, take this. He made me come work at the service station so that I could have some money to buy. And so then when my granddad got murdered, my senior year in high school, it was tough. It was tough because that was my best friend, and it happened the night after I committed, like signed my letter of intent to go to Wake.
Now in that game, like I watched the highlights of that game, and it's crazy how you see some of the moves you do in high school that you still do in the league. Like, man, you've been doing that since even in high school, but like just go over that game and just like the emotions and everything that was just falling in that game.
You know, it's crazy though, is because the move you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. I only do it on the left side of the court.
Right.
And y'all was in the league before me, so y'all probably call it the Smitty, right?
Yeah.
It is the Smitty. We don't just call it that.
It's not
it is
that
the Smitty.
You know where I get that from? Did y'all ever used to play like lunchtime ball, like at the YMCA and all that, like with the older? Yeah. It's a dude named Rodman Dunlap, who from my hometown, right? He was a little older than me. He used to do that move at the Y. At the Y. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Where do you think he got it from? Though?
I mean, I need to ask him if
Hey, I'm pretty sure.
I got it from my man Rodman Dunlap, who back home, I think Rodman a firefighter. He used to be nice. But
shout out to Rodman.
Dunlap. Shout out to Dunlap. But that's where I got that from. But I mean, looking back at it, it's still crazy to see how that game happened. And the high school that I was playing against was actually my mom's old high school, and it was the day after my granddad's funeral, right? So my family rode deep everywhere. So to have all my family there at that game and to do that is still probably the most memorable thing I done did.
Recruiting wise, well, you committed to Wake before that, so it ain't really boost no type of recruiting or nothing like that from that game.
Yeah, because I committed to Wake as a junior or whatnot, but I know something that neither one of y'all ever did. Neither one of y'all ever played a day of JV basketball, did you? No. I played 2 years. I played 2 years of JV basketball.
Well, I guess you could say I did though. My freshman year I played on sophomore. That's like not varsity, so yeah, that's like JV or whatever.
Right.
My first
sophomore year.
After that,
started on varsity, did you?
Yeah, after that it was
That was
I ain't played high school till 10th grade, and I started every year.
Theirs was crazy, bro. His junior high was 7th through 9th grade. What? Right.
What's the name of that?
Different.
They came and got me. I was playing against grown men and playing against my kids my age.
That's because you looked like a grown man when you was like 12, 13.
No, I was skinny with a baby face.
So what made you say you committed to Wake as a junior? What made you commit and get locked up? Because I know you was, you know what I'm saying, well, that's home outside of that, but you know what I'm saying, was it anywhere else that you possibly could have thought about going earlier than that, or who else was recruiting you hard back then?
Y'all know what's crazy? Y'all know who I was a diehard Carolina fan growing up. Diehard Carolina fan, right? So Stack, which is so crazy too, Stack dated my cousin when he was like at Carolina. So I'll never forget, me and my brother had went over to my cousin Sean's house. She was watching us and I was younger, and we was sitting in there eating, right? Because my mom and them had to go to work. And I remember Stack walking in there. Me and my brother was tripping like, there's Stackhouse right there, right? So like I was a diehard Carolina fan. And so what I learned though in the recruiting process is that you don't necessarily go to the school that you're a fan of, right? It's gotta be the best situation. and Carolina had asked me if I could walk on.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they asked me if I could walk on, right? That might have been like my sophomore, junior year. They was like, asked me, could I walk on? Because they had Raymond coming there, right? My man, Raymond.
Okay, Ray Phelps.
It's like after Ray went to the league, they might be able to give me a scholarship. And I was like, oh, nah, that's out. We can't afford that.
Right.
We can't afford that. So then that summer before my junior year, like I hooped. Had a big summer at the Nationals in Orlando. Boom. Started getting all these offers. You know who I played against? And it's crazy because y'all got that Chicago connection. I got all my college scholarship offers off of playing the Illinois Warriors.
There it is.
Wow.
That's the
Right?
Larry Butler.
Right?
That's it.
Look, but back then, you know, you could be a young team. So we was 15 and under playing up, 16 and under.
Up,
right.
Yeah.
That's how. Yeah. That's how. Yep. That's how
Right.
they used to do it. Always play you up.
Right. First game out in the Nationals on the first court on the far left. I never forget it. We had to play the Illinois Warriors, and we was younger playing up. Yo, they had Andre Iguodala. They had, I think Shannon Brown.
Okay. This Shannon Brown, Brown.
They listen. We ended up losing. We lost by like 6, but I had like 34. Got back from that game. Every coach like gave me a scholarship offer.
Yeah, they had squad then when Dre them was winning tournaments back then. Dre, they had I want to say Luther might have played some with them too.
Yeah, I think so. They was nice. They was
nice. Yeah, they had crew.
So your senior year, you really like bust out. Like you one of the best in the country. That's when you really like exploded.
Pretty much my junior year. Like my junior year, I exploded. So what's crazy is I started dunking, right? I started dunking going into my junior year, and that like changed everything. Y'all know what it's like have a guy that come down, do a finger roll or lay up a floater. I started dunking. So that changed everything. So that started making people a lot more aware too, right?
Yeah.
And so like me, Mustafa Shakur.
I remember Mustafa.
Stop.
Philly,
yeah, I know.
Philly, stop.
Yeah.
Man.
He used to be at Hoops in the shot with us.
Yeah. Andrew
he used
Lavender.
to come Santa Barbara too.
Yeah. Andrew Lavender out of Ohio. Man, there's a whole bunch of guards when I was coming through, man.
Yeah. I remember World Wide West first bringing him around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Staff, I mean, I was 5'10", 5'11", and so Staff was 6'3", 6'4", point guard.
Yeah.
Handle all that. Nice. That's back when everybody wake up looking at them rankings. Y'all remember that?
Straight up. What was the Streets of Smith and all that stuff?
All that. Bob Gibbons.
Yep. Bob Gibbons.
All that.
So when you got to Wake Forest, like, how was that for you?
Shoot, it was crazy because y'all know J-Ho, y'all know Josh Howard. So
yes, sir.
He's the original from Winston, right? So Josh is the original from Winston-Salem, went to Wake, was nice at Wake. And when I got to Wake, they was nice already. So that's another thing that I didn't expect to start, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that I wasn't supposed to start. The starting point guard, dude named Teron Downey, had to have a appendectomy like a week before our first game.
Oh.
That's crazy, right? Like I wasn't. They had won the ACC the year before I got there, so they had TD, and I ended up starting the first game, and we played in the Garden against Memphis. They had Antonio Burks. Y'all remember him?
Yeah,
he was tough. He was tough.
He was a senior. I was a freshman, and we won the game. And coach let me keep starting. Crazy, right?
So you played with Josh Howard. Josh Howard, he one of my favorite players too.
I ain't play with Josh. Josh left and went to the league before I got to Wake.
Okay.
Josh was in Vegas with us though.
Oh yeah.
On that Jordan shoot, Jay Howe.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, so at what point, like when you get to start from your first game, but at what point in college did you feel like, okay, I'm one of the guys now. I feel comfortable out here. My confidence against everybody is where I feel it should be, to where you was one of the best guys in college.
Man, it was probably had to be like halfway through the year. It might have been like my first ACC game, like right before that. So my first ACC game was against Carolina. and it was at Carolina, and it was Roy Williams' first ACC game, right?
Oh, okay.
And it went to triple overtime. It was crazy.
I think I remember that.
Game was crazy, man. Like, it was the first ACC game, but like after the game, it was like emotional. Everybody was crying, like we had wanted. Like it was crazy. But after that, it started to let me know, you know what I mean? Okay, you gotta keep working. You gotta keep working. And you know, when you get to college, you actually got full access to a gym.
Right.
I never had that. Never had that. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, when I talk to them kids that play in my AAU program and stuff, and when they get to college, I'll be like, look, man, you got the tools. You know what I'm saying? You got it. Now you just got to put the work in.
So you decided to go in the draft. Like, what made you decide to go?
No, I didn't. Not after my first year. So what's crazy is after the NCAA tournament, y'all be asking some good questions that nobody be asking. So after my freshman year in college, right, we lost in the tournament. We lost to Jameer Nelson and Delonte West.
Ooh, they was vicious. I remember them boys at St. Joe, but they was vicious. A little big man.
And I was like, man, we got a chance. We can get them. We did not. We lost in the Sweet 16. And so get back to campus, and my coach said he wanted to talk to me and my parents, right? And so we go up there, and coach started asking me questions and telling me, like, you know, you should come back. You know, you're probably not ready for the league. And me and my folks sitting there listening to this whole talk, and we like, man, I ain't going to the league anyway.
Right.
I'm not. And you know why I didn't? And I say this all the time, and y'all know this too. I knew I wasn't ready, and I knew I was still too big of a fan of the league.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was still too big of a fan. Like, if I would have went after my freshman year, I would have got up there like, hey, can you sign something for me? You know what I
mean? Yo, I swear it's crazy you say that, because on Everything I Love, the exact same thing happened to me after my freshman year. I could have left, you know what I'm saying? They were saying whatever you could. If I would have been drafted, it was up in it. Yeah, I left after my sophomore year. So look, just like you, after my freshman year, same identical thing. All of my coaches and everybody, they like, man, Q Rich, my teammates, the word around school, you know what I'm saying? They like, because then you got to think about it. I'm like you in this sense too. My school was at the crib. So I was at the crib a lot. So they took that and they was like, oh, he ain't like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm still going to class, still doing my thing, whatever. But I used to just be at the crib a lot anyway because I was at home.
Right.
So same thing. They have a meeting, coach come in, do a whole spiel, bro. I'm sitting there the whole time like,
go ahead.
Like, I'm really not, like, it's cool. Like, yeah, I'm going to let you do this. But, like, I'm not even, I felt the same way you did. I felt, because we did our due diligence, and what was being told to us from the league was like, yeah, because I played the 4. My freshman year, I led the country in rebounding, bro. You know what I'm saying? I played the 4. Yeah, my freshman year, I led the country in rebounding, bro, as a 4-man. So they was like, he's 6'5", 6'6", he's going to be a 2. We need to see him play the wing. So that was what my whole focus was coming back to school. Was like, all right, you can't play me at the 4 no more, even though I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a shoot threes and do this and that and show that I could play the perimeter, because in high school I was a 4-man and in college I was a 4-man. So that was for my sophomore year, was the first time me really getting moved, so to speak, to the perimeter, but it really wasn't. I still ended up playing a 4 still. But like, that was why I went back to school, and then ended up coming back coming out after my sophomore year.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And it made all the difference in the world that when I went after my sophomore year, I knew, like, they told me I would be mid first round, you know what I'm saying, after my freshman year. And I was like, no, let's go do this one more time. And I liked the college experience at the time. Yeah. And I was home. Like you said, I was home.
Yeah, I seen you still had Mom Deuce doing your laundry, bro. Listen. Look. I seen you on the wind down, man. You just learned how to do laundry under the pandemic. Come on, bro.
My moms was sure enough washing my clothes. My grandma lived around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So I take my teammates over there to eat and all that.
My mom used to wash my clothes and fold them. All I had to do was just grab them and put them up.
Oh, nah. See, I at least had to fold them when I was coming.
I ain't had to fold them. My mom used to take care of me. She took care of the boy. How many workouts you did when you came out?
Man, listen.
Let's hear this.
I'm laughing because don't nobody ask these questions. So look, so my workouts. So it's crazy, yo. So I was working out in DC. So after I declared for the draft in school, sort of thing, I went.
Okay, you went and posted up there.
Yep, I went to Alexandria. Me and my brother went up and lived in Virginia, and I was working out with E-Don every day by myself, like killer workouts, right? Killer workouts. But now it's time for me to work out for a team. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard Gil tell this story one time, but Gil came and worked out with me one day.
Okay.
Gil came and worked out, and I fried Gil. Like that was a day too. But now,
yes, we need stories of Gil getting fried.
I'm about to tell you though. I'm about to tell you this was funny because now I'm in the league. It was sort of like that time where he was sort of trying to, I guess, because what is it? It had to be like August, June, where he almost like sort of getting ready or whatever. But that was big for me, being young and playing these one-on-ones against Gil, and I was like, dang, I feel good.
Right.
I didn't because that's when I made my biggest jump too. Is between like those workouts getting ready for the league, I got a whole lot better. Whole lot.
Right.
But what's his name came to watch me work out and watch me against Gil, Milwaukee. Crazy workout. Then I walk over there and the Bucks people was like, yeah, that was a good workout, but that's when TJ was coming back.
Right.
TJ was coming. TJ Ford was coming back. So I was like, yeah, y'all just come watch me work out for if y'all knew y'all wasn't going. Y'all ain't even looking at me, right? So they took Bogut. Who else I worked out for? I worked out for New Orleans. That was crazy. That was real crazy. Because I told them I wasn't coming to work out for them.
I see.
No. Real talk. I said, I'm not coming to work out because I worked out for Atlanta before that and killed that workout. I worked out.
You want to go to the A?
Yeah, and they had the number 2 pick. And so that was closer to home, but not at home, right? And so after I worked out for Atlanta, I got back to the Omni Hotel. My agent called me and was like, New Orleans wants you to come work out tomorrow. And I was like, nah, I ain't going. And my agent was like, well, they said if you don't come, we're going to pick you anyway. And I was like, what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like guys just think they're going to be able to say that. So I was like, all right, man, come on. I literally flew into New Orleans the next day. You know, I usually stay the night. I ain't stayed.
Right, you got in and out.
Yeah, they just went 18-64 the year before. I ain't really know nothing about them. I went to eat with Byron Scott, TGI Fridays. Then I had to work out. And it was crazy then because the GM there at the time, he almost made you work out almost naked. It was like a little tank top, these little shorts.
You want to see your body? Hey, that's just think about what he just said, bro. They took Chris Paul to TGI Fridays. Byron Scott and Chris Paul. Like nowadays, boy, you know what type? You know where they be at them places now. No, forget Ruth Chris. They be on another level. Ruth Chris is exclusive. They be all the way out of here though. Walk in, going through back rooms and stuff. Like it be player now.
It be player. Yo, have y'all ever heard of somebody sort of like throwing a workout, like not working out good?
Yeah.
See, I don't know how to do that. So when I worked out for New Orleans, like I had a really good workout, right? Me and B. Scott played a little bit and stuff like that to do shooting drills. And B. Scott was so cool, man. I finished my workout. They drove, showed me. They said, you want to see anything? I was like, I want to see Bourbon Street. They showed me Bourbon Street. And then, I left. And then I worked out for Charlotte too.
Why is Charlotte like Charlotte and Atlanta? Why is that like people that come from Carolina, like Atlanta, like is the destination?
Well, so it was crazy. So at the time, Charlotte had a number 5 pick and a number 12 pick, right? So when I went and worked out for them, they tried some trickery. It was, so I was supposed to work out by myself. You know, our top picks usually work out by themselves.
Yeah, you guys, you too.
Listen, so I go down and get in the car in Charlotte. And I open up the door and Tony Douglas in the car.
Okay, Florida State.
Yeah, Tony. But Tony at the time had went to Auburn. He went to Auburn before Florida State.
Okay.
I knew Tony because he was from Atlanta or whatever, but I opened the door and I see him in the car. And I get in the car, I call my agent. I was like, yo, somebody in the car. Like, I thought I was supposed to be working out by myself. my agent was like, don't go, right? He was like, you ain't supposed to. I said, man, listen, I've been doing all this working out by myself. Let's get to it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I thought you were about to say you didn't go. I was about to say, come on now.
What?
See, you the one who I was chasing in my year. I knew nobody, you can't get no workout, you can't prove yourself. Thank you for clarifying that, saying that you told your agent, slide to the side, homie, I'm about to go ahead and handle my business and we're gonna do what we do. That is appreciated there.
I love Tony, man. I know him and his brother Harry, and after that, I walked in a room with all Charlotte people, and they were sitting there. What you hearing? I was like, if y'all gonna get me, y'all gonna have to trade up.
Right.
They ain't trade up, but I was damn sure sitting at the draft. They said with the number 2 pick, the Atlanta Hawks, and I started get up. They said Marvin Williams. I said, oh no. Yeah. But
for the Hornets to pick you, how did that feel? Like, draft was a big moment for the Hornets to pick you.
The Hornets had the 4th pick. Charlotte had the 5th pick, right? And mind you, I just liked being at home. Charlotte was home. So I was, I wouldn't have mind if they passed on me and I would have went to Charlotte. You know what I mean? Man, listen, when they said my name, just because y'all know that's an out-of-body experience.
Man, exactly.
For your family, man. And to this day, 15 years later, when I see that replay and I see my mom's face, you know what I'm saying, and my pops, I got back to the back, called B. Scott. B. Scott was so happy, excited. I was too. That night, we ain't got to talk about what I did that night.
Yeah.
But that next morning, me and my family went to New Orleans, and I don't know if I would be here now had I not went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's some of the best years of my life. Like, I love that city.
You ate good. You ate good down there.
Ate good. Hey. The people in New Orleans ain't nothing like it. The love like that was there. Like when I played there and stuff like that, ain't nothing like it.
And talk about being there, going through the Hurricane Katrina and that whole crisis, and being there and being involved. And I know you was one of the guys that was from the league that was on the ground floor that was doing a great job at being a part of the relief and everything that was going on. Talk about that whole experience.
Man, that was different too, because I got drafted, went to New Orleans right then, started looking for a house. Me and J.R. Smith started being together all day, every day.
Switch.
My dog, that's for real, like my brother.
Yeah.
So me and J.R. was together. Yeah. Boy, before the storm hit, me and J.R. we had went out one night in New Orleans, and his Big Earl, his pops came, got us out the club. I'll never forget that. Pulled us out. But I had a house before the storm, and then I'll never forget being at home in North Carolina and waking up and looking at the news. Like my mom was like, we were looking at the news at what was going on, man. And we ended up relocating to Oklahoma for 2 years and coming back. So I don't know. That city is the most resilient city, if you ask me.
When you was with the Hornets and you played in that series against the Spurs, like, and this the almighty Spurs, and how you played and just how you played. Do you feel like, oh shit, I'm here? Like, I know you can play on this level, but to get in the playoff setting and play against the almighty Spurs and do your thing, like, how was that?
Man, D, I keep telling y'all, man, y'all ask questions that people don't, like, this is what I be talking about, like, with my family. Like, it's crazy. So that was the first time I made it to the playoffs, right? 07, 08. And so we played against Dallas in that first round, and I had to play against J. Kidd. And at the time, we were a lot cooler now, but at the time, me and J. Kidd, like, had a little beef. We used to be out or whatever, right? So then we get past them and we get to the Spurs. And mind you, this is the season that I think I'm gonna get MVP. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, that season, you know what I mean? Like, we had been picked to finish like low, last, or whatever in the West. No, we was nice. I mean, every night we was hooping, and we ended up finishing that season 56-26, right? And I never forget the big like meeting that we had before the playoffs started. And one of the vets, I can't remember who was on our team, he stood up, and Byron Scott used to do a dinner before the playoffs started, and we have all the guys on the team and your girlfriend, your wife, and all that. And everybody got to say something, which is still funny to me because now with my girlfriend at the time, right?
Right.
And she didn't live in New Orleans with me, but they went around and asked everybody to talk. And he called on my girlfriend, who was my wife now, and asked her to talk. And I'm looking like, what the hell she gonna say? You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. But you know, everybody go around and say, what do they expect from this team and all that. And so one of the vets said this, and it's so crazy because I'm the guy who sort of says this now on my teams when we get ready for the play. And the vet said, yo, fellas, let's take full advantage of this opportunity, right? Teams like this don't come around every year. You know what I mean? You don't automatically get to start at the playoffs. You know what I mean? So let's take advantage of what we got. And I'm sitting over there and I'm hearing it, obviously, because I'm telling you, I was listening, but I'm also sitting over there like, I'm gonna be right here every year. Like I'm thinking in my head, like they about to announce that I'm MVP in like a week or two. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hear what you're saying. We're gonna take full advantage of this, but I'm gonna be here all the time, right? And that series was so eye-opening to me. Because if you go back and look at it, and I'm obviously during this time with my cousins and my family, and I'll be looking at the games and like game 1, we beat them by like 25, 30. I don't know, check. I just know we beat them bad, right?
Right.
Game 2, we beat them. And you know, when you're young like that, you swagged out. But then I would look over there at their bench and they would be like, okay, cool. Went back to San Antonio, game 3, thought we could have won that one. Same with game 4. But it started to help me realize that no matter how much you win either one of them games by, it's just one game.
Yeah.
It's one game, so you never get too high or low. And when we lost that game 7, oh man. Like that team was one of the best teams. And you know, when you're on a special team like that, like we used to have game nights. It was more than just basketball with that team.
Bonding.
Huh?
Bonding together.
Yeah, like me, Tyson Chandler, David Wett, all us, Gennaro Pargo, all that group, man. That was one of the toughest losses.
Them years down there, like David West was a total threat. I remember Zebo used to want to kill his ass.
Did he?
Because I think one time David West was like, he ain't an all-star yet. And Zebo used to want to murder him every time he seen him. But David West, like y'all 2-man game was just like them years y'all was doing his thing. Just speak on David West and like them years, what he brought to the table for that team, the toughness and the.
I almost get emotional when I talk about D West, man, because you know, like when you're on a team, I think sometimes people think that you always gotta, the people that you closest to, you gotta be the ones that you gamble with or that you go to dinner with and all that, right? Like me and D West wasn't like that. Like he ain't play cards, you know what I mean? We wasn't at dinner together every night or nothing like that, but we was just connected, right? And still connected. Like I respect D West maybe more than anybody that I didn't play with, and I love him to death, like as my family. And a lot of people would know, but we played for the same college coach too. And our college coach died, right? Our college coach died my second year in the league. And going back to college, I was a freshman in college, and I walked into the office, the basketball office, and I walked into my assistant coach office, Coach Jeff Battle, because my coaches that used to be at Xavier. And I walked in and I seen D West, right? I'm a freshman in college. I see David West in there. I'm just, who would have known that a couple years later we'd be teammates? You know what I'm saying? But D West was just the consummate teammate, man. And especially back then when, like, I was hard. Like, I was hard as far as like, man, let's go. I'm this. But people lead in different ways. You know what I mean? And I think we just complimented each other. And I don't know, D West, 17 feet, assassin.
Cash.
I knew I had assists. Boom, drop it right there. And we
man. free throw line killer, man. I'm talking about, man, he ain't even jumping. He just on his tippy toes hitting that.
And you know what? You know what's crazy, D and Q, is I used to try to get D West to back up to the three, right? I used to try to get him to back up to the three because, you know, he shoots so effortless, right?
Yeah.
That's what he used to always say to me, man. That's why I love D. He would always say, Peasy, it's fool's gold, Peasy. It's fool's gold. He used to always say that to me. Peasy, it's fool's gold. It's fool's gold.
That's a classic quote.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. How did you feel when you thought you were gonna be traded to the LA Lakers with?
That's crazy. I was just gonna say that.
Like how did you feel when that got?
Let me tell y'all what's happening.
Put the kibosh on it.
Any documentary that I wanted to do about all the times in my life, the stuff that happened, we basically doing it right here on the Knuckleheads.
Hey man, you know that's what we here for, bro.
So man, I know y'all had TA on the show, man. Trev, you know that's my brother right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So TA was with me. TA was with me when we went through all that.
Yeah.
He was with me, and it's crazy because I was trying to get Trev in the trade with me. Like for real, wherever it was, to get out to LA so he could be around his son at the time, right? And so when that trade got nixed, that was crazy. That was crazy because a lot of people don't realize it was bigger than just going to the team and stuff like that. That was right after the lockout.
Right.
It was like contract stuff that was a big deal. But I mean, I always say I played for the Lakers for a little bit, for a couple hours.
How was that in real time? Like, how was that being communicated to you? Like, it was all out there, like the trade is done, you going to the Lakers, and then it was like everybody reacting like, oh, this about to be crazy. CP with Cole.
I was on the phone.
What I'm saying?
I was on the phone. I'm gonna tell you, I was on the phone with my brother, my agent, and all that. We figuring out a plane to get us to New Orleans, to get us to LA. Let's just say my agent clicked over, said, hold on, clicked over, then he came back on, and he was like stuttering, like, and we was hot. Me and Kobe talked, you know what I'm saying? We talked already and all that, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. You're a Clipper now, and you know, now you're not a Laker, so now you're on the other side of the fence, and you're trying to change this culture. You're finna, you know, make the Clippers a title contender. Now, like, how was that to be? You know, everybody expect the Lakers to win all the titles because they done won all the titles. But now you're on this side of the fence where you got to fight through the history to make a mark for the Clippers. How was that?
Man,
and you thought you was just going to the Lakers, and then they flipped the switch on you.
Right, thought I was going to the Lakers, but I was excited about the Clippers thing. You know what I mean? Because I was excited about trying to do something that had never been done. Right, like I'm saying, like I'm just competitive like that. Like most people are like, why you want to go there? Why you want to? Well, everybody want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do something. I want to do something different. And it's crazy because Chauncey, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that, like the whole situation with Chauncey. Like the Clippers originally picked Chauncey up off waivers, right? Chauncey was actually trying to get to Miami. You know what I mean? So then when I saw Chauncey get picked up off waivers, I was like, oh man, I really ain't gonna be able to get there. Then they figured out a way to make the trade happen. I get there. First thing is, I'm happy. I'm excited about playing with Chauncey. Chauncey was pissed. He was mad. Chauncey was mad. A lot of people don't know that. And Chauncey's my big brother, and I'm like, I'm about to go there and be with Chauncey. Chauncey was hot. He was mad that the Clippers had grabbed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he competitive. He still he the man.
Exactly. He wasn't mad that I was coming there. He was mad that they had picked him up off waivers, whereas he was going to probably go to Miami.
Yeah.
With that crew. So that was a whole situation. And then, I mean, I got there. You know, Vinny was the coach. Y'all played with Vinny? No. Y'all was a Dunleavy, right? Yeah,
Dunleavy Senior, yeah.
And man, it was crazy playing with Blake and DJ.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, how was it witnessing some of the best in-game dunks in history when you were playing with the
being
Clippers?
part of them, setting the table
that you seen? How was that?
I didn't appreciate it enough probably until I left. Dead serious. I can admit that. Because everybody always talk about how like I made them better, but they made me better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Some of them passes I threw probably should have been turnovers. Straight up. I'm coming off just doing like that, but all you had to do was keep it in the arena and one of them was gonna get it. Right? And so me too, when I'm playing and I'm in the game, I'm so intense and I'm concentrating on just winning the game that a lot of them dunks, and Blake or DJ, they might tell you that I didn't usually like congratulate them on the dunk until later that night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I got home and I'm watching, I'd be like, God dang, that was sick tonight. You know what I mean? Because in the game, if you go too crazy, y'all know, you know what I mean? It's like the guy that get a dunk, then you go down and give up a three.
Yeah.
But it's like even when I watch some of them throwback games now and I see how much fun we were having too. You know,
yeah.
Jamal too. Like, I remember I played against Maul when he was with Portland, right? And me and Maul talked about it. Maul used to be like, man, that looked fun over there. And then when Maul got there with us, you know what I mean?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one of your dunks. Like you dunked on Dwight Howard.
Oh, like, YouTube that. You can run that clip right now. Run that.
He said that's Google. He said that's Googleable.
Hey, you dunked on Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
I love that dunk because like you went so casual that he came and you boom.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'm gonna keep it real. I couldn't believe it.
That's your favorite dunk ever that you got?
Yeah. Other than this one I got in the church league. I got a nice one in a church league one time on dude's head, 2 hands, but that one I sort of surprised myself, to tell you the truth, because I went split the
grain.
Split it right to the middle. And if you see, it's a weird dunk because I used to dunk one hand back then, but I was scared because I felt his body. You know what I mean? So I actually dunked and I try to grab 2 hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
hey, that's one of the best defenders in the history of the game now for you just
and
dunked
it was
off.
one. That's why when kids,
and you caught a body.
Hey,
you caught a body.
That's why when kids ask me at camp, they be like, "Can you dunk? Can you dunk?" I'll be like, "You too.
Pull this right up."
You too.
I was playing for Doc. You know what I'm saying? Doc coming in a new situation coming from winning the championships, having the big 3, and he on the same goal as you to make this team like a contender and to have a chance at winning the title. How was it playing for a coach like Doc?
Man, it was crazy because even to get Doc to the Clippers, right? So obviously I was excited because I saw what was going on with Boston, right? And just, you know, trying to figure out if some of that could come to our team with what we got. And Doc, you know, it was crazy. We had our like differences or whatever, but the one common thing was that we both was crazy competitive and wanted to win. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. Like when you come to X's and O's as far as execution and Doc and all this, and you know, we had L. Frank and all that, and it was just everything was so tied together. And then T. Lou was our assistant, and then Alvin Gentry initially, all of that. We just had all that. And it's crazy. Me and Doc bumped heads on a few things here or there. But I think the biggest thing is when you know that you ultimately respect somebody is when you sort of take that on in your daily life. You know what I mean? Like I think about some of the best coaches I played for, like my coach, Skip Prosser, right? My college coach. He used to say, never delay gratitude. You know, he used to say, if you can't be on time, be early. You know, it's all these different things that he said constantly, you remember, right? So with Doc, I got a whole bunch of stuff that Doc used to say that I say now, like all the time, like, you know, get rid of the clutter. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because now I'm talking to like Darius Baisley and some of these young guys on my team, and I'll be looking at them like, I'm sure this shit get on your nerves sometimes, but you're going to remember it. You're going to remember it, so yeah.
Hey, I mean, just from us personally, me, you know, we played, you know, obviously prior to you in LA, and to see what y'all did going there and the change that, you know, I know it was more than the players with L. Frank and Doc and the, you know, the whole upper office changing up, and it's still under Sterling, but like, I gotta salute y'all boys for, you know what I'm saying, handling the things that y'all handled when y'all was there, because obviously we dealt with some stuff that was there, but it would. When we were there, it wasn't as glaring. It wasn't as he didn't have the one scenario, but I mean overall it wasn't as out there. It was whispers in the paper about stuff with his buildings and this, that, and the third. That would get thrown out there every now and then. You would see it here and there, but like when y'all got there, for y'all to be able to change. And I remember seeing it before I actually came to it. I remember seeing it on TV when Doc first came in and he covered up the jerseys up there. I was like, this is the first time that Clippers fans can go into that arena and feel like we're at a real Clippers home game. Like y'all had the whole outside of the arena with y'all faces and everything. I was like, this is the first time we would pull up to our games with Shaq, Kobe on the little, on the flag poles outside as you roll down Figueroa. It's like they all up and down the street.
About, right? It's crazy.
Exactly. That's why I said I had so much respect for Doc when he came in. That was one of the first changes. He like, man, get this stuff covered up, man. Like, what's going on? I kid, when we used to lay down on the floor at shoot around warm-ups for the game. You warming up, you looking up at Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Lakers championship banners. It's like, it was crazy. We used to even feel like we got treated different when we played the Lakers, and it was the Lakers home game. Like the same people, we'd be looking at them like, bro, hey man, you better keep my car down here. My family coming out of here, bro. Like, are y'all crazy? Like, what's wrong with you?
It's the same people working and they looking at for the game. Yeah.
So to see y'all, you know what I'm saying, change it and it kind of the playing field get level for you. I was super happy and appreciative because even for the employees, you know what I'm saying, to get y'all to be a winning team and for those long employees that been there forever, like Denise and Peasy them, you know what I'm saying, like that was for them to have a winning team, bro, and to be able to go to work and with some pride, like I felt good for everybody involved, and y'all did that.
Listen, man. I'm gonna tell y'all this straight up, man, and I'm glad like we talking about it now because when I was there, we didn't. You know what I mean? We just didn't. And like the people you talking about, like Denise Booth, right? Jason Powell, who was like close to like my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to be on the table with JP getting worked on, listening to stories about y'all. You know what I mean? So even though we never really talked like that, we all been connected through all that. And so y'all know what it's like whenever the Clippers do win the championship, like y'all are a big part of that. Y'all, BD, Corey Maggette, like Ralph Lawler, right?
Yeah.
Who I love Ralph to death, man.
That's
the guy to death.
Oh me, oh my.
Oh me, oh my. Right. Bingo.
Hey, Lawler's Law. And I'll tell y'all this, man, is that when I got to the Clippers, every time we went to an arena or something like that, Ralph would always walk up to me and be like, this is the scenario, CP. Like, Chris, this is the scenario.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't won in Utah in 12 years. We ain't never won in such and such. And I used to be like,
he's a walking stat. He's a walking stat. Listen.
And to tell you, man, that used to drive me. That used to drive me all the time. And I'm so grateful for all them. And like you said, people always gonna talk junk, right? Especially like Lakers fans and all that. They always gonna be like, oh, you ain't did this. You ain't.
Right.
But y'all know what it's like to have to deal with that. But at the end of the day, you gotta go play the game. Regardless, you gotta hoop. And y'all started that. Y'all started that.
I know when it was no Clipper jerseys. Nobody used to have them. Like nobody used to have them. We just changed our jerseys. Like they wouldn't. Like the whole organization was totally different. To see y'all when y'all got there and just everybody having CP Blake jerseys and DeAndre jerseys and just seeing how the culture just changed. It was like, man, I just remember when nobody wanted to be a Clipper because we definitely didn't want to get drafted for the Clippers. We wouldn't even work out for them. And they mind up.
Yo, so when I first got out here to LA after after the trade happened, it was just me and my brother initially. I stayed over there in the marina. I stayed in the marina for a minute, like a month and a half. And so, of course, new team or whatever, my wife wanted to get some gear. Man, she went over to Fox Hills. Nothing. Any store you go into, it wasn't no Clipper gear, nothing. And so now, not even after I played there now, and even now that I play somewhere different to see, you know what I'm saying? Like it's dope. It's dope. Like even if you watch shows and stuff like that. Did y'all used to watch Blackish?
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson. He was a Clipper fan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Nah, he started being there when we was there. That's how I knew. Like I knew Anthony way back in the day, bro. We both lived. I stayed in Encino when I first stayed there. When I first moved out there with the Clippers, I rented Larry Drew house, and I lived in Encino for my first 2 years.
Yep.
So Larry Drew, the coach Larry Drew, I lived out there at his house, and I stayed right by Chris Spencer and Anthony Anderson.
Yep, and still open.
Straight up.
I think he might be about to move, but it's dope to even see that type stuff on TV now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you left LA, right?
Right.
I remember you sitting down with Jay-Z on it was something y'all did together when it was like you left a significant deal on the table to go from LA to Houston. What went into that whole process and that decision?
Yeah, what went into it was like at the time stuff was a little shaky here. You know what I mean? And it was time for something different. You know what I mean? Time for something different. I mean, obviously, people say hindsight 2020, but at the time, it was hard. It was hard because I've been here. Like my I had just moved my in-laws out here to LA. My brother, his family was out here in LA. It became home. You know what I mean? But you know, you want to compete for a championship. You know, and at the time, I didn't think we were ready to do that, especially with free agency coming up and all that, right? And so going to Houston, it made sense. And that was tough. It was hard to make that decision, especially with my kids. And y'all know that. Like I never forget, like when I told my son that morning that it was gonna come out, and when we was in my office and it came up on the TV, and that was in that doc that I did, but little Chris was like, Dad, do I have to go? And I'm looking at him like, you know, I can't be me and work and perform without y'all being there.
Yeah.
Man, who the hell would have knew I had to play this season without them?
Right.
Crazy, man. Crazy how life happened.
With the new energy, you know, you going and, you know, everybody's saying that y'all a powerhouse. You know how it be summertime when somebody go to a team and everybody like, oh shit, here go another one coming up that's gonna try to make some noise. So with that new energy and D'Antoni's system, like, how was it for you? Because you're a point guard, and you know you with a coach now that's really system oriented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was excited because I don't know. I think people see you play a certain way for so long and don't think that you can adjust. You know what I mean? But me, I know me. You know what I mean? I know hoop. I know the game. I know what I'm capable of. I know I can shoot threes. I just don't choose to shoot them all the time. You know what I mean? So when I got there, it was sort of eye-opening. And I think what helped more than anything that first year was like Tuck, right? PJ. Tuck. Me and Tuck, we know each other since we was 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that bond with the team. Then Trev, right?
Yeah.
Having Trevor with that team, like people don't realize that's the biggest thing that we missed.
They lost.
What?
Yeah, and I thought so too.
I said that for a long time.
That's a whole nother story. But
right.
that was tough when we lost TA, because TA, y'all know him, he silly as hell, but he sort of like was that glue.
He a glue guy.
Yeah, he was that glue for our team. And that first year, man, it was so fun. Like it was too much fun. You know what I mean? Like the way we was playing, because we was trying to figure it out. And it go back to one of those things where everybody always gonna knock it, right? Everybody was saying what we can't do. The defense can't do this. We can't do that. And we were like, look, let's just win games. It don't matter what you're talking about. So.
What game in the series with Golden State that y'all was like, oh, we see a chink in their armor. Like, oh, we can actually beat these guys.
You know, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a game in the series. It was like throughout the regular season, because we play them, and the way our mindset was then, and I'm not sure if it's that way. Yeah, it's probably not that way for them now, because at the time, you knew in order to win, you had to at some point get through Golden State, right? So our thinking, and it made so much sense, was we started switching to all screens and all that because we wanted to prepare to play.
Capella was moving them feet, man.
moving them feet. And a lot of people, a lot of people will be like, why they switching everything? Why they playing like that? Because man, I could tell y'all so much basketball stuff right now. And listen, the reason why we were so good is because a lot of teams, right, you would play a certain way in 95% of your games, right? You had your offense that was doing this and doing that. And then you play against Golden State or something like that, and they switching all these screens, and now all the plays that you've been running, they don't work, right? So that's what we figured out when I was in Houston. It was like, okay, we gonna play this way every night. And so then when we have to play against Golden State, we will know how to switch the screens and we'll know how to play against them. And I always say, I think that was Minnesota's biggest thing. We played Minnesota the first round that year, right? And, you know, as good of a team as they had, they were pretty good. But if you've been playing a certain way and now you got to play like this, because, you know, a lot of that switching forces people to play ISO, right? So it's a lot. We had a good strategy, man. I just got hurt. That's what it was.
I don't want to skip steps, but like you one of them players that absorb the history. You absorb the game, like every experience that you get. That experience in Houston, did that make this year so much easier and better? It's like you've seen it a little bit more. You gained some more knowledge.
I don't know if it made it easier. It just it's part of just competition, right? That's the thing for me, the drive. Like, I don't want to say I don't say I pay attention to everything, but I hear everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
we human, bro. I love when people keep it real and say the human thing, because like we keep it real, Chris. Even if you don't pay attention to everything, you might have your brother or cousin. Exactly. Somebody might say, "Hey, man, like just any type of." It's always a different way for you to hear certain things that are said. We hear everything. I know
too many people. I got too many homies. Yeah. I got a group chat with all my boys that I grew up with, and let me tell you, ain't nobody off limits.
Straight up.
But my boys back home, do trust, and everybody got that, or I feel like they do.
Yeah, that's everybody.
After a game that I play bad, I go on my fellas group chat. You some trash. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Or if somebody start talking sideways or crazy about me, they'll put it in the chat or something. Be like, what is this person talking about, right? So you're aware of what's going on, right? So, boom, I'm traded. And when I got traded to go to OKC, I'm going to tell you, man, I was at the Peach Jam with my AAU team, right? I was at the Peach Jam where I'm at every year.
Jam.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm there every year that time. And one of my young fellas, Colin Sexton, he was out there working out with me. And so I was at the house. I found that out. And I was like, okay, cool. I think the toughest part for me was trying to figure out if my family was going to go. But past that, I was already in the lab working, you know what I mean, excited about what came. So when it happened, it's like, all right, it's another page. You know what I'm saying? And I can control what that looked like. If I come in here and play half-ass and look like a bum or something like that, then I am a bum, right? Right, but I'm too competitive for that.
Nah, that's what I the whole season, you know, I work at Turner and do the show at Turner. The whole season, you know, I was working. I would be with GP, with CP, sometimes with Smitty and them guys up there, and we would all just sit there and be super happy. And even when me and you sit around watching game stuff, dude, we all talk about it like just how glad we were to see, because, you know, once that trade happened, it was speculation all over the place about what's about to happen, where you going to end up, and what are you done, and this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I know this dude, a hooper, he want to, you know what I'm saying, wherever he at, I just want to see what he going to do. So for me, it was just dope to see, because I feel like this was one of your best bodies of work as a season. And I mean, clearly you had better stats in individual seasons earlier in your career, but I mean, just from everything that you had been through and the injuries, and then the expectations of what y'all team was gonna be and how you went in there, and you know what I'm saying, obviously the young guys showed up and did some stuff.
With your DNA on it.
But I feel like, that was a CP3 whole, you know what I'm saying, setup that you came and you changed the culture and you poured into them young boys and you put your whole stamp and imprint on that team. And I feel like this year was like one of your best years out there. I just want to know how did that feel for you to go out there and be able to do that? And like you say, even just not even forget proving something, just like you was having fun, bro. Like I seen you doing your moves, your face, you genuinely was having fun out there.
You know, it's crazy because you just never know how it's gonna work out. And Shay, right? Shay, like
that boy
gonna be
nice.
First and foremost, but that's for real. Like my brother, and I think as we've been talking and we talk about all these experiences, right? And not only Shay, but Darius Baisley, who young fellow on our team. But I always think about the vets that I had, right? So I played with PJ Brown my rookie year, right? I played with Bobby Jackson. I mean, Gennaro Pargo, one of my groomsmen in my will. You know what I mean? Like, I played with guys who taught me about like work, right? And so for me, going into this year, of course they always gonna make the jokes like, oh, you the old head, and such and such, all that stuff. And I'm always with that, but I'm gonna compete too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show Shay, because me and him always playing against each other, shooting against each other. I'll be the old head, but I still bust your ass. You know what I'm saying? For real. And so we sort of just bonded like with our whole team too. You know what I mean? Like Dennis Schroeder, right? So he another guard who is cold, who is nice. And what I love about Dennis is we always on different teams in practice. And me and Dennis be at it. We be at it. But guess what? I love playing with him. Like I love playing with him, man. And so it's been fun for me, like with our camaraderie, and that's why I want to get back to playing. Like I really want to get back to playing because our team, man. I'm not just saying that, we got such a good group.
Let me ask you this: did Shay convince you to do a TikTok video?
Oh, man.
You OG. How they get the OG in the TikTok?
They got the OG out there.
They got me in the video with them. Let me tell you, because that TikTok was actually that night that the league stopped. Stopped or whatever. But literally, Baze and Shay, like they be over my place all the time, right? If it's just dinner or if we on the road, we always together, man. And shoot, I got more TikToks in the archive because it ain't. I got little Chris here too.
Tell me, like you just said, like the night the league stopped. Tell me what that was like for you, because I'm at work watching, and I'm seeing, and then they obviously showing you right up on the court. I see you go up to Joe Ingles, like, yo, what's up with Rudy? Like, what's good with Rudy? Like, what was like? Tell me, what was all happening, and how was everybody? What was going through your mind as all this was playing out in front of you?
It was crazy, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. But to tell you the truth, it's crazy, man. I'm doing a documentary about it, like a movie. Like a movie about the sports stop with Antoine Fuqua.
Okay.
And Brian Grazer. We're doing a whole thing about that, like getting perspectives from athletes of what happened. And man, listen, I ain't never seen nothing like it. And you know, like we done talked about all the different stuff I've been through. I've been through like the Knicks trade, you know, had Hurricane Katrina, Sterling stuff.
Sterling.
All that. And then boom, what you say, come back to the locker room. What's going on? What's happening? We ain't starting the game like that. That right there, that was different. And what made it crazy is I was in town by myself. So y'all know, like I lived in Oklahoma by myself, my wife and my kids in LA. But usually my brother at least in town, my cousin is at least in town, or my parents or something. Just nobody. Yeah. I was there by myself.
When did you figure out you had the ability to control a whole game? Not really in high school, but I'm talking about like in the NBA, because I see you like you control the pace. You know what I'm saying? You pull up or you call certain plays, and it seems like you be out there just instructing the whole game. When you felt that you had the ability to do that? 'Cause I used to see Jason Kidd do that when he was with New Jersey, because he didn't have a lot of heat over there, but they was beating everybody ass.
Yeah, Nash used to do that. Jay Kidd used to do that all the time. And I think for me, when I talk about basketball, I talk about it too, like Connect Four or like checkers or something. Like at the end of the day, it's still a game, right? So if I'm dribbling up the court, right, or even if you come out of timeout, right, and guys line up on the court and you about to run a play, if the center's standing up by the 3-point line, where he gonna end up at, D? I mean, in the older NBA, new NBA, you don't know where he gonna end up, but for the most part, he gonna end up somewhere closer to the basket.
Yeah.
And if I'm down there by the goal near the rim, I'm gonna start there, but I'm gonna end up somewhere else. You know what I mean? So me, I just watch. I watch games every day, every night. Yeah. And what really made me start being able to control the game is a lot of people talk about, point guard, pass and shoot and all that, but it's defense. Like I love defense. I love the defensive aspect of it, man. And any team that I'm on, they'll tell you half the time I'm mad at somebody is because of defense. Because that's how you piss somebody off.
Stopping that shit.
Exactly. You know that. You know that if you're in the league, like that's the biggest thing I think I try to tell the kids in my AAU program and all that now is that nowadays y'all know people scared to play defense.
Yeah.
Right.
They scared to fall or they scared to get dunked on or crossed over.
Exactly. One of the guys I used to go at it with game in and game out because we played them in playoffs back to back was Tony Allen, right? Tony TA, right? We used to go at it when he was with Memphis and I was with the Clippers. But we used to talk after the series and I used to like talk to him and be like how much I respected him because people don't realize how hard defense is. And that ain't glamorous. You know what I mean? So I always had so much respect for guys that do it both ways.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But Q wouldn't know nothing about this conversation,
Oh, is that right?
He's not a defender.
CP know how to defend. I ain't got to do all this.
Hey, Q was with that bumping and grind. He want to bump.
Q was trying to bully
There you go.
Somebody.
There you go.
Hey.
As long as we knew it wasn't sweet when I was guarding, that was all I wanted to make it sure of. Hey, but this is what I wanted to ask you, because you kind of like Stackhouse to me in a way, to where I see you hands-on with your group, with your grassroots program, and you really one of them dudes is like you got results. You'd already got some pros that's in the league, putting plenty dudes in college. Like, how did you get involved with that? And do you see yourself when you get done someday coaching? Because obviously you just hearing you talk, you could tell your knowledge of the game is crazy. I know you, so I know you're a hoop junkie. But do you think you got that gene to say I could go coach? And do you have that desire?
I'm gonna tell you straight up, like Stack is like that too. I know a number of guys who Brad Beal like that with his AAU program. So it's a number of guys who like that. But for me, and y'all probably remember AAU growing up, my pop spent his entire 401k on me and my brother playing travel basketball, right?
Mm.
Right. Pop spent all of that. Yeah, so my mom's and pop. So I've been playing AAU since I was 11 and under in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And so my brother was 2 years older. So every year we went to his nationals, my nationals. So as soon as I got to the league, it's like, we want to have a program. So we've been having an AAU program, and it's like, and I mean this, man, like, I love that program more than anything. My boys that I grew up with, they the coaches.
Right.
Straight up.
That's dope. They
the coaches. My dad oversees everything. My mom books all the flights and hotel rooms for the kids.
That's awesome, bro.
Now to see it, man, y'all just don't know. Like, man, I love them boys, man. Like,
man, I see that they really rock with you. I see the interactions on social media and it's some heavy hitters too, bro. That's what's dope. Like, you really got, and like I say, the family aspect is what I see and I connect with most. It reminds me of when we played AU, and it's like, to me, to see them kids have CP3, a Hall of Fame, one of the best point guards ever, like being with them day to day in the summers and really on deck, and not just, I'm gonna just show up at a big time. Like, you really be on deck with them. I see your facility you got down there. That's crazy. Like, that's all, like, you giving them a place that we wish we could have had.
I just be trying to be there for them too, right? So like y'all, like, I'm sure y'all got young boys that I don't be smothering them and all that, but I just try to be there and give them knowledge if they need it wherever. Because y'all know how many people talk crazy about AAU basketball, right? And it's got its flaws, like anything else. There's no way I'm here and a whole bunch of guys. They wouldn't have had a chance without AAU basketball. What the hell
us
we did in the summer? What we did
us included.
We would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm grateful for them. You know what I mean? Because not only did they make, and not just the guys that made it. I got a ton of kids in our program that they still my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they keep me excited, right? So it gets me excited that when I do retire, guess what? I'm gonna be there watching Theo Pinson. I'm gonna be watching Josh Okogie, Grant Williams, Harry, all them. Man, I'm gonna be there still watching.
Hey, how do you feel about them then and now pictures? Because they got them pictures when they just a little young little thing they took with you. Then they got this picture now when they in college and they done passed you in height.
Listen,
now you an OG.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Because like you can say OG, and I'll be like, what? Am I that old? You know, but it's perspective, man. And I tell you, from a game this year, man, we was getting beat bad by Chicago. We was getting beat bad by Chicago in OKC. And so Chicago got two of our kids. They got Wendell Carter, right? And they got Kobe White. And when we on these AAU trips, and y'all know what it's like when we on the bus or we going to eat and all that, they be capping all day long. Especially when they're young, they like, man, I can't wait to get to play against you, coach. That'd be crazy too. Like some of them be calling me coach.
Right.
So they be like, man, I can't wait to play against you. I'll do this to you. So finally, you know what I mean? They was smacking us, and then I went off, and I think I had 30, and we came back to beat Chicago. And after the game, I was on their head. I
remember that.
Because look, we gonna compete. Like I would check them probably even harder if they didn't compete against me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about being the president with the Players Association and everything that goes with that. How did you start being that involved and wanting to be in the leadership group as far as the players goes?
Yeah, man, I just seen something. I think this is my 7th year actually being the president. I've been on the board for a while, and it literally came like my 3rd year in the league. Billy, I remember Billy Hunter. He had said something to me about, I want to get you on this board or whatnot. And, just like how players used to be, I was like, what? I ain't got time for that.
Right.
Ain't that how I used to be? Y'all know.
Yeah.
Used to tell like the young fellas, like, y'all got to go to the meetings or whatever, right?
Yeah, you be the player of the team rep.
Yeah. It was like punishment. It was like punishment once upon a time. But then as I started being on that board, and I got a chance to go to the like negotiations. I don't know what year it was, 2000 something. I don't know, it might have been 7, 8, I don't know. One of those. I used to sit there and I listen. You get to hear how the owners talk. You get to hear how David Stern talk. And I was like, okay. I'm processing, seeing how some of this stuff operate. And that's when me and James Jones got real close. JJ,
champ,
my man. That's my dog right there. And
JJ, a solid dude.
It's so crazy to see how all those years and we built, and I'm not gonna say but we built something great as far as the players that's there now. You know what I mean? And the way we get a chance to talk about stuff. And the biggest thing, and we still got a ways to go, but the way we doing more stuff together. You know what I mean? Like the way
that's the biggest thing.
Support each other, man. Like y'all. Q, I think it was when I was in Houston, we was trying to get together to do this and we didn't get to do it. And I was like, oh man, I text you and yo, we gonna do this. But the for real togetherness, man, and the union still got some ways to go, but it's in a way better place than it was once upon a time. And that's a big shout out to the players.
Straight up.
Kobe said in the All-Star game, y'all never lost. And you was a big part of the new format getting changed for the All-Star game. Like, how was that this year? Because we was down there for All-Star game, and it was like, man, it was a dope one, very exciting one, and it makes me look forward to the next one. So how was that to kind of change the platform? What you thought about how it turned out?
Man, so Cole, like what do you usually say? Different animal, same beast, right? Yeah. We both like that. Like crazy competitive. We used to get into it. Hell, I get into it with most of the people I play against. See, that is, but it was a respect factor, right? So when we went into the All-Star games, and even aside from the fact that the winning team gets a little bit more money than the losing team, it's a game, right?
Right.
So I don't be out there with all I'm trying to win, right?
Yeah.
Trying to win. And Kobe used to be on the same thing, which was dope. I'll never forget the 2009 All-Star game in Phoenix. We beat the hell out of the other team. They were so mad, you know, because then, you know, people like, oh, that ain't good for the fan. Well, y'all need to play harder. Something. But I was excited and nervous a little bit about the All-Star game this year because I definitely proposed that to Adam. But I think what was dope was that I sort of, me, MJ, and Michelle, and Adam, we sort of came up with that thing too as far as the draft, right? We came up with that draft thing maybe like 3 years ago. So, because I noticed that I was like being in the All-Star game, I'm always on the same team with the same guys. Like I was like, if we want some excitement, let's try a draft so that different guys play together. So coming up with that idea, I had never been a part of it, right?
Oh, right.
So then even bringing up this idea for the All-Star game this year, I wasn't sure to be an All-Star, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was dope for me personally to finally get to be a part of
what you've been planning.
Right. So to see how it all came together, man, and to see us compete and for a great cause and to see guys, y'all know, you know, guys got pride. Guys gonna hoop.
Yeah,
and
straight up.
Y'all liked it?
Nah, I felt like, I felt, man, I loved it. I felt the thing that I took away from it most, that I felt like everybody that played in that game, they did an honor to code by competing as hard as y'all did. Once it got to it, like it was a competitive game, and I think, you know, y'all with overtime and stuff, like for me, that more than anything was a salute to Cole, because that was the way he played every game, and that was the way he would have wanted to see it played, I feel like. So that was super dope.
Yeah, I think it made the crowd even more involved with it. You know what I'm saying? More into it. I felt like the whole night of it, from Common rapping, was hard.
Yeah, that was man, an emotional game, man, because it's crazy. I forget about some of this stuff. You know, we a lot of guys actually had a hard time after the intros. You know what I mean? Because Cole, you know, whether you talk to him every day or not, Cole touched everybody some way differently, right? Just different. Cole was just different, and it's still not real to me. But yeah, man, yeah. Yep.
I say that all the time. I say it don't matter. If you played in the league when he was playing, like you just said, I don't care if you knew him or what you thought about him, like you wanted to prove yourself when you played against him. You wanted him to see you. Like, I want him to acknowledge that I'm one of them. Like that was he was one of them people that you, all right, I gotta bring it tonight. We playing against him. He gotta see who I am and know what it is. And then when I get that respect, I'm good. I'm good around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who you was, whether you admit it or not. That's what it was when you played against him, bro.
Right.
I know you say you're anxious to play basketball, but did The Last Dance have anything to do with a little bit more anxiousness of playing that basketball?
Man, that Last Dance was woo. Real. It was so real. And listen, y'all know good and well, everybody ain't always gonna like what you do, right? And it was crazy. Got a chance to talk to Dennis Rodman a little bit, and he was like, because you know, it's people saying MJ depicted this way or did this way or whatever. And Dennis Rodman said something that was so dope. He was like, well, if somebody gave you an opportunity to tell a story about your life, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like for real. And y'all know MJ, and y'all know how guard MJ is. So I'm think it's just so dope that he even opened this up, because he didn't have to.
Not at all. But he said it. He said it. Look, I don't have to do this. He said, I'm doing it because it's who I am. Like,
man,
the whole documentary show you why he like he is, though. If you pay attention, it show you why I faded to black. I'm chilling.
Dude, and y'all's in Chicago, right? But me, I was in Louisville. I was in North Carolina. I was watching every game on WGN.
WGN.
Right? Every game, right? My mom cooked dinner around the time that the Bulls played. So now, and think about it now, y'all have lived that NBA life. So y'all know what it's like to be in the locker room and fly on them planes and what the media is like and all that. And I got a chance to see what he was doing, you know what I mean? While I'm like living that now. And I don't feel like I am where I am without watching him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like I'm in the backyard trying to, everybody be like, oh, this point guard, this point guard.
Tongue out.
When I grew up, I was trying to be MJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like kids now be trying to be point guards and stuff, but I don't care if you was a guard or a center when you was growing up, you was trying to be Michael Jordan.
Straight up.
I mean, disrespect to Pat Ewing or Reggie Miller, none of them, but nobody in the backyard trying to be them. Everybody was trying to be MJ.
You get on that playground, first person say Mike, he Mike, then you pick everybody else. All right, well, I'm going to be Pip or Bart today.
I'm going to be Pip. So me and my brother in the backyard trying to be Jordan and Pip, man.
I want to ask you one more question. Like, I know it meant the world to us to be sponsored by Jordan Brand. And for you to be from North Carolina, you know, Jordan mean all this stuff to you, to be sponsored by Jordan Brand and for Jordan to take a liking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like how was that for you?
And your own shoe for like how many years now?
Shoe on Jordan Brand.
That's the both worlds.
Listen, y'all, I mean, y'all know, but growing up in North Carolina, I used to watch Michael Jordan's Playground, right? Me and my brother used to watch Michael Jordan's Playground all the time, right? So I played in the Jordan Classic, right? So MJ came in, and I still got the picture somewhere of, you know, you leave a seat open for where MJ gonna sit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on one side, Shannon Brown was sitting on the other side, right? And MJ sat in the middle, and I'll never forget that because he was like Black Jesus. Yeah, like, damn, that's
like
him.
Jesus.
Like, dang. I was like, yeah, this really is dark. God, right? But it's MJ. But it's MJ. And man, like to know him personally, like y'all, and then even to get, because I was with Nike my first year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I went to Jordan, y'all know what it's like. Like I'm 35 years old and I still get excited when my boxes come and I got the J's.
Straight up. Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? Like
straight up.
My boxes come and them J's is there. I'm all right.
You might drop everything right quick. Let me go check this real quick. Hold on.
My wife be over there cutting. I got that, baby. Don't worry about it. I got that. But it's something you never get used to. I remember being in the 6th grade and in intramurals, and I had the 13s, and somebody stole them out my locker, and I got a butt whooping for it. So, you know, J's is a part of the culture, and so in order to have that and to be a part of it, it's dope to talk about it with y'all because you don't get to talk about it every day.
And then it's just the way they separate themselves, man. Like we go on them board of governor meetings and trips and stuff, like, bro, like. Nobody not doing that, bro.
Yeah, it's just a tight-knit group, too. It ain't everybody. That's the thing that's been dope about the brand.
And you try to explain it, but it's hard to explain. Like, man, when you out there, it's like, bro, we at these remote resorts, and it's like you got people every 20 feet to be like with the Jordan shirt on, that got you this way to do that. It just be so crazy.
When them shoes pop up on the gram and all that, or like your old customs, like y'all know that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It is. It's what legendary.
Yeah, I got one more question. A North Carolina legend we had the opportunity to have on our show. She says she's real close to Ty Young.
We
had the opportunity to have on the show and just speak about Ty Young and just the WNBA, how you supported a lot this year, and just like Cove, and just speak about how the WNBA is growing and just to see somebody that be involved in that.
Man, the WNBA is super dope, growing. Like I'm a fan, like a real fan, right? Like Sue Bird, Sue's so cold, first and foremost. You know what I mean? She cold, like DT. I mean, you got all the like WNBA players who, like, we look at them just like they look at us.
Exactly.
Right? And trying to make sure they get that same respect. And then let me tell you about somebody else before I tell you about my relationship with Ty. But Camille Little, right? Winston-Salem.
Straight up.
Salem's finest. And Camille, like, we grew up together right there, and she went to Carver High School. And we both were Mr. and Miss Basketball in Carolina, right? She went to Carolina, I went to Wake. And she just retired this year, man. But like what she did for our city and for the WNBA, you know what I mean? And like I genuinely love Camille to death. And like Ty, right? Another North Carolina native. Like I love her to death and just her spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all get a chance to see it. She just, I don't even know how to describe her. You know what I mean? Like from wearing my shoes and, you know, me and my wife rock her gear all day, but she is family. And it's so crazy. Her brother-in-law actually grew up with me and my brother. You know, small world, but Ty is always love there. And she just, you can't help but to smile when you look at her.
Straight up.
Hey, I got one last question before we let you go, because I always ask this and I forgot because we've been talking about everything else. I need to know, when you first got that bread, when you first got that cheddar, what did you do? Was it a car? Was it a chain? I'm talking about something on the splurgy side. Was it a watch? You missed a nice watch.
Or
did you go buy bowling balls? You know, you big time bowler. You know,
the day that I actually like got that like upfront money from my agent, you know how they give you that little early money. It was like $25,000. First thing I did with that is I went to the mall. I went to the mall. Me and my wife, my girl, we went to the mall, and I took one of my teammates and his girl, and then we went and ate. And I never forget, because we used to get 2 checks. It's been 1 check ever since. But the first
straight up.
But the first thing that I bought, like something, I bought a car. Car, and it was a BM. Listen, it's so crazy, like how your family shape you, right? So my dad had a BMW, right? He had a BMW, and my dad, one of them people, he washed his car every day. Like that was his baby. Yeah. And so when I finally got some money and could afford to get something, guess what I did? I got the biggest, nicest BMW that you could get. Dog, I wasn't thinking about Mercedes, bro. I ain't know nothing about none of that. I thought BMW was like the nicest thing you could get.
Right.
I went and got me a BMW 750 Li.
750.
Big body.
750, put CP3 in the headrest. Still got it. I still got it too.
That's classic.
I still got it. Yeah.
Well, man, dog, that's been too much love, man. This is one of our favorite ones, man. You always been somebody we rock with. We met you when you was young and been following you ever since. And salute, man, on all you've been doing, all you continue to do, man. We appreciate you pulling up on us, man. CP3, everybody in the field.
Hall of Fame.
Fellas, man.